Welcome to Event-Vods. This is the full VOD of today's NLC Winter 2025 matchup.
Out of it, or if this is going to be the what we've been used to for the last month and a half now, third ban, and it is. So for Los Ratones, my immediate attention is drawn to something like a Varus or an Ezreal, and then we'll see where they decide to go from there.
It's actually crazy that a lot of the teams are going towards the Ezreal. The Maokai ban kind of gave it away, but Mel is one of those champions that has been left open to the picks and bans. I actually thought that we're going to B1 it straight away. There's actually really strong champions like the Cassante as well. So I feel like Bulldog Esports have a good chance for a very, very strong R1, R2 if they're looking something like the Cassante, something like a Mel right here, especially since, you know, Baus is going to play his kind of weird picks. I mean, give me a pick that Cassante doesn't actually neutralize at this point.
Rumble is open. That's one of the picks that Baus dislikes with his life. Another one that could be picked was the Vados, but Kai'Sa takes priority. You talked about the Kai'Sa yesterday a lot of times as well, Treble. Even though you were not on the champion select, I know you're feeling towards Kai'Sa. So you lock in the AD carry. What else can you lock it in? Like, do you go for those priority supports, or do you go for something as a jungle right now, as Wukong is available?
I feel like Lulash and Wukong kind of go hand in hand right here. I cannot say that I'm liking the R1 coming through with the Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa cannot necessarily be taken away, and I feel like Bulldog Esports had the chance to get really strong champions. Obviously, they're looking the Ambessa, can go over in the mid lane. We're talking about came in plain AD, melee champions as well as the top lane for Miatek. However, right here, you sort of giving it over to Los Ratones to pick champions like the Cassante if they want to, like the Cyan, like the Mel. Pretty much seal the deal. Another Pantheon.
That's Baus Pantheon!
Archer, you can't get as excited as you used to because it's actually kind of turning into the meta right now. I know. But this is like, look, this is... But this is like Nightmare getting excited about Ari being here, you know? It's like Ari's been present for like 3 years.
Not as much, okay? I'm still allowed for the hypiness.
I agree, and I'll let it slide because he's been out of the meta for so long. Volibear at the same time. So Pantheon can be flexed towards the support role or the jungle. This Volibear, because it's Baus, I would anticipate it's his, you know, special pick here.
It should be,
into the Ambessa. But again, the flexibility is still for Velia to pilot it is very much alive. Now, earlier on in the draft, Xin Zhao was hovered very late for Bulldogs. I wonder if they're going to change that priority given now what they see on the Los Ratones side and they do towards that Wukong like we highlighted. And there's a lot of dive for Bulldog, and this fits very much into the criteria of what we thought were strong about this lineup. The snap engage potential very much there. They just need to find a little bit more agency for Kasing, and I feel like they're kind of golden for the most part. They will hit a lot of their check marks, and it's going to be about Los Ratones' responses in 4 and 5.
I feel like for Los Ratones right here, if they play a pretty good kiting composition and they already have one piece of that equation, it's the Ezreal. Really hard to catch unless you have point-click CC that will follow him through like a Vi, like a Nautilus kind of thing. It's very hard to catch. Nautilus out, Maokai out, Vi out. There is no point-click CC to follow up with his Ezreal. I'm seeing very short range. I'm seeing 2 melee champions and a Kai'Sa. These kind of champions are very easily kiteable, and especially if you're going to add an engage support like Jamada said into the equation, you have 4 melees into Bulldog Esports. Even something like a Braum right here for Los Ratones, following up that there will be an engage support over Bulldog Esports, could pretty much solidify the deal. I really like what Los Ratones have right there. Volibear thrives when champions dive into him, so he doesn't have to use his ultimate to get deep. Pantheon, the same. So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing for Los Ratones. I'm thinking even Lulus, Karmas, Janas, anything for Reckless could really work.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I wonder if Los Ratones then in mind. I was kind of looking at something like a Rakan here for Kasing. If they kind of just leave it up and go towards the more, you know, kind of standard engage supports, like the Rel rather, and then it's like, well,
they're forcing him on Leona.
If you go on the Rakan or the Leona, then Reckless can kind of just go Janna. In the isolation, it looks pretty good here. I do wonder how the rest of the composition will suit up, right? Pantheon as well still has the flexibility of going into the support role. And I think when you're dealing with something like a Rakan, the lane is so usually weak that you're kind of happy for it. But I think this is exactly what the Gambit was out of Los Ratones. It could just be a hover, but again, you know, Ezreal Janna into the Rakan, it's going to be a pretty miserable lane, even to the point where, even though most people would consider Kai'Sa a bit of a counter matchup into the Ezreal, you know, it's more for a later on thing. It's not for lane. So this could get a little bit rough. I think, though, we'll kind of wait for the time to tick. It's got a few more seconds on it. It's been hovered the whole
Just
way.
lock it. It's perfect. Just lock it.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
We got it.
I feel like Janna is the cherry on top right here. You can leave Ezreal down bot lane. They said that they wanted to shut down Velia. Janna's so quick on the map. Can back up Velia. You have a lot of engaged, disengaged tools coming through from Los Ratones. Again, I feel like peeling is the name of the game for them, and Oriana as well. I feel like they just look impenetrable at this point. They've just created a fort. If you do penetrate the fort, Janna is there, and they only have one button to go in for Bulldog Esports. If it doesn't work, if that target doesn't die, it becomes so difficult then to reach again.
Yeah, this is a big game of cat and mouse. Came in, is he going to go towards the Ahri, which he had so much success on the other week? It's hovered through a lot of dive options. It will be the Aurora in the end. And honestly, I think this is just going to be a very big bloodbath, right? Bulldog have effectively a full 5-man dive composition, and Los Ratones are running, 4 champions which really thrive in peeling, and then also, the Volibear is just there, I guess, to deal with all of the melee range champions that are going to be, diving in. So I think this is all going to be about Bulldog looking for those snap engages like they have looked so successful on time and time again. And Los Ratones maybe leaning into the fact that they know their early games aren't fantastic, but if they can reach those 2-item marks, they can use all of those self-peeling tools to try and pick apart Bulldog's engages.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like
Tell me.
I feel like Asing has a lot of the burden of execution coming through from Bulldog Esports. He's the one that's going to be responsible on finding the flanks. If you actually can get onto the Janna, they can delete her really quickly. And this is why I'm saying it's up to Asing to find the angles for these engages.
Well, tell me, who do you think is going to win? Based on these champions, not on name tags, who do you think is going to take the first game?
I'm going with LR. I really like what they've got.
Jamana.
I'm always a sucker for shotgun comps.
Here we go.
I like what Bulldog have put together here. I think they have enough engages they can get around the self peel that Los Ratones have drafted for themselves. Again, I think it's 2 very thematic comps. We'll have to see how they match up once they get onto the Rift.
Okay, interesting. We're about to jump into the first game of the seed. It's going to be Los Ratones versus Bulldog. Only one can come out top. And let's see how we start this one. But before we jump into the Summer's Rift, take a look at what Arazi has prepared for you.
Welcome back, one and all. Thank you very much, Des, for breaking that down. We have got a double bill heading of 2 heavyweight showdowns with the winners going on to the upper bracket finals afterwards. Of course, we're starting with Los Ratones versus Bulldog here, and some interesting drafts already. Seriously heavy dive on both sides, and some kind of little interesting bits underneath it. Reckless back on the Janna, Kasing now playing his 58th game of Rakan of all time.
Imagine having so many games on Rakan. Like, do you actually, does it change something in your brain chemistry? Imagine what the stats are for the other champions. You know what? I think I don't want to know. What I want to know is how this game is going to go, because we have potentially one of the most explosive games of NLC on our hands right now with these 2 team comps who want to be fighting heavily, who want to be spilling a lot of blood, and to start spilling it pretty early on. This is going to be a very exciting match.
And I do appreciate the fact that there's been some thought put into this bot lane matchup in particular from the desk, because I think with the matchup we've got here as well, Kai'Sa into Ezreal. Kai'Sa historically pretty good into Ezreal in the mid game. You'd be able to hit a W, you can force him to E away, then you follow him with the ultimate and he has a horrible time. You can't run away from the Kai'Sa dive super easily, but Janna behind you, got the Pantheon able to globally ult in behind you, and that makes the dive comp on Bulldog a little harder to execute.
This Janna, honestly, is the most important weapon that Los Ratones have right now versus what Bulldog want to do. Because for Bulldog, they want to press their ultimates, they want to go in, and then they want to start pressing their other buttons right after their ultimates are gone, and they're already at the enemies.
So
then the Bows thing's already to Mintic. Oh my god, did you expect anything else here in the top lane? That's how it's going to look like. You will not see Bows at the middle of the lane. You will see him somewhere very deep on the lane, most likely just, having a little unspeakable fun with the minions there. But can we go back to the bot lane for a second? Because I am so happy to finally see Reckless on Janna. I haven't seen him yet in a professional game that I've been casting, so finally, this is my time to shine. I love Janna, and I think here she's going to be excellent, because she has a lot of disengagement tools if you need to withstand and engage from Bulldogs with her Qs, with her insane shielding, with her ultimate that's going to throw enemies away and give you a lot of healing later in the game. But Janna is one of those champions that you usually look at as defensive champions, but if utilized correctly in the right hands, she can be very offensive during the laning phase.
I mean, we'll see what Max Reckless tends to go for, but there's been a lot of discussions over the years about what the Janna goes towards, and the Zephyr Max, that W Max, can be so annoying. It's huge poke, you have to run down people with your autos. The Rakan sort of has to slowly waddle away as you chase at him, and it can be really difficult to deal with. And if you then, with all those slows coming on through, get Crowny to be able to hop on forwards with the Arcane Shift and the Mystic Shots being empowered by all those Ws and stuff, it can be very, very annoying to manage.
Yes, it will be very, very annoying. And Reckless is level 2, already having the Zephyr, and you could already see a little glimpse on the bot lane with him having a little bit of fun there. But Bows, yeah, I told you that's what's gonna happen. You will not see him anywhere next to his outer turret. That's where he belongs. Okay, he belongs in the enemy territory of the lane.
And in really no surprise, he started with a Dark Seal. He's going for the AP Volley Bear starting item. We'll see exactly what he goes with. If he does pick up some of those early kills, he can get a lot of value and goes for the early reset, having proxied the wave, and need to see what build he tends to go towards. We're getting that kind of weird Nashers into Flicker Blades build that seemed to mash up the AD and AP that was popular a few months back. And it is, of course, Baus, who's now gone and got himself a Doran's Ring as well for a bit more AP. I think he's probably cooking again. When is he not?
Fair question. When is he not? And this is Volibear of all champions he's talking about, paired up with a Pantheon that he's having in his jungle. This is a very explosive duo early in the game. Like, when you get ultimates unlocked, you can expect them to fight, but even before that.
Goes across the Veil. Cayman's still going to get jumped on with the shield. Well, I think he's just dead, even with the flash. Not going to do it. Velia picks it up. For a man who was criticized for being a little lost in the map by Lulis in the interview, that's a nice first pickup. And again, he's on the Pantheon now. You want to be globally aware. You want to be using that ult to get around the map and making good value. And that's a great start to the game. Picks off that Aurora, who doesn't retreat properly.
Didn't look like he was very lost in the battle at that moment.
Oh, Mientek. How much further does Baus want to go here? Lulis is around, but I don't think Baus wants to chase it too much further. But that'll still be the Ambassador force to reset Baus because he cleared out the wave. Didn't even have to burn the teleport, by the way. He's got to walk back to lane. So, still has that ability to reset again with that TP advantage.
There was an adorable clip from one of our streams some time ago when he was talking about how much he loves pro play, just because there is always someone smart in his ears telling him that the enemy jungler might be on the top side, and then it actually turns out that the jungler is on the top side. And you know what? I feel like at that very moment that we saw on the screens a little bit earlier, somebody was telling Baus, hey, there might be a jungler on the top of the map, don't go any further. And Baus this time did listen to the voices. He did not overcommit, he just reset. He's again going back to the lane because, hey, he has pushed in so much, he doesn't need to TP back. There is no reason to waste a teleport like that.
And I think there's something to that, right? In the sense that Baus as a player has always been really good at pushing the line, stepping over the line when other people don't know how to deal with it, and getting a lot of advantage for it. Yeah, dying sometimes, made a whole career out of it, hell, with the Scion passive and all of those early stories of this guy and whether he was he inting, was he greeting, is this a correct way to play? And that discussion when he first kind of gained a little bit of notoriety, not necessarily popularity at the time, and ult there used for Cayman to get a big chunk onto Nemesis, who did look like he had to flash there, so do keep our eyes on that. But back to story time for a second or two here, but this is a guy who thrived on abusing information, knowing what to do with the information he had to really eke out every advantage he could do and get a lot of pressure from it. Pro play, where you've got much better comms, where you've got much better struck at information from, only enables that more to my mind. And so far, so good for him in that mid game. He's been so frustrating as the Howling Gale interrupts Xfang. And in the picture-in-picture, thank you very much, production. Baus and Velia combined to get themselves the early set of grubs.
With so much pride having on the top lane from Los Ratones, it is no surprise that they decide to go for the early grubbies as their first objective. The dragon is still in question for Bulldogs in the bot lane, but the bot lane is suffering. Mid lane is not suffering, but I feel like Bulldogs are looking at this dragon possibility at the moment. They have Lulis on the bot part of the map. However, they don't have Cayman's ultimate for quite some time still, and it's really risky for them to be pulling big moves on the objectives right now, especially after they've already lost the first one. And I gotta say, while we're here, I am surprised we're only at 1-0 at this point in the game. I hope it's going to get accelerated a little bit.
Someone check Crowny's PC, because that ain't natural. Hitting so many Qs on this Kai'Sa under the turret. The accuracy is good. And we said, Kai'Sa, bit of a counter, but here comes the Grand Starfall. Velia has a flash, could look for it. There's a cleanse available from Xfang, will not need to use it. He burns the flash early. All the while, Baus has died in the top side. Looking probably to proxy at the same time, but it's left Kasing out to dry a little under the tower. Oh, little Rakan, there is nowhere for you to go. Gets a double knockup, but the Howling Gale ensures that Crownie is donated another kill. And X-Fang nowhere to be seen because of that reset. Gonna get clipped by the True Shot Barrage as well. So not even getting back to lane with a full HP bar.
Oh, that hurts on the bot side for Bulldogs. But hey, I wonder what happened on the top lane. I hope we see the replay, because it looked like it was a solo kill for Mintek on Baus on the top lane. There was Lulus around when we saw it in the picture-in-picture when he just died in the enemy
Public
jungle.
execution got burned, so yeah.
Yeah, Atrum's favorite ability in the whole game, by the way. But it looks like it was just an easy kill. I mean, I'm best at the moment she has her ultimate unlocked. It becomes so much easier for her to go for those solo kills on the enemies, especially when they haven't really built up anything against her just yet. But while we're waiting, oh, thank you very much. We're not waiting anymore. So basically, Baus is less than half HP here, and he decides to go in.
Dive?
What?
And he didn't shut the turret down. He was too short.
He doesn't shut the turret
turret's still
down.
on. Oh dear. And then goes to proxy regardless. Mintek says you cannot do this. Has to run away from Lulus and dies.
And dies, yeah. That's basically the whole story, yeah. We were talking about Baus, you know, finding those unconventional plays. That play maybe was a little bit too unconventional.
Look,
I'm trying to be
sometimes the
kind.
line between int and genius is just in. Sometimes it's just the wrong move. And Baus is normally pretty good at knowing when he could just about step over that line. That was like leaping with 2 feet over to try and shut down the turret. Maybe overplayed that one just a touch.
You gotta say, though, he hasn't given Mintek too much of an advantage, even giving away the kill. Because if you look at the difference in the gold, it's gone! Look at that! At the gold difference between the top leaders, it's completely gone. Baus has been farming up so viciously that there is no way you can get into gold proficiency with just 1 kill onto him.
And I think the other thing we're now going to check out is the fact that Lost Returners just off their laning are up a significant amount of gold. They are 1.5 just over K gold ahead, and that is a big deal, especially when on the desk we're saying, look, Lost Ratones are many things, a very strong team. Their mid games in particular, exceptional. But the early games, sometimes have left a little bit to be desired. Nemesis, sure, strong laning, but we've seen a lot of skirmishes go wrong. Lots of teams get advantages against them, and then they've had to crawl their way back in the mid game with the strong macro moves, with the strong mechanics that the team has. That's not the case this game. They're just starting off with a significant lead pretty much everywhere you care to look.
Where is Baus? Do you see him on the minimap?
I see him in the picture-in-picture too. Baus,
Yeah.
that's not your side of the map, mate. Why are you there?
Speaking of overstepping, that's just, you know, that's just Baus things. You can't really say anything about this guy. But what he's doing there is he's potentially preparing the grubbies for Lost Ratones right now, because they already have the first set. Would really love to go for the second set right now that is spawning very soon. And now with the proxy on the top lane, that should give enough time for Lost Ratones to move and to rotate their jungler there and to get these grubbies, especially with this Ambessa recall.
X-Fang is not having fun down here. That's a very good accuracy from the skill shots. WQE or forward for the extra auto. X-Fang down to an auto away from death. Has to back away again. Look for the true shot barrage. Just shy, doesn't read it. The chunks out Kasing again. Both bot laners are going to have to leave. Kai'Sa might be a counter into Ezreal in the mid game, in the laning phase with this Zartjana poke. As Nemesis just command dissonances down Cayman. The Aurora is down for a count as well. The killer bunny rabbit is deceased.
He just walked up and threw the ball, and that was enough. But now can Mieta get out of here?
Skysplitter comes on down. Will Draco step forwards? Lulus to take a look for a Cyclone. Gets it onto Baus, who does have his ultimate available. Failure flashes over the wall, and that might leave Baus in danger. We'll get a shield behind him. Good look for a flash forwards. Thundering smash. Mientek has nowhere to go, and Ambessa. It's just the end of Arcane all over again.
So, help me read that right, because I am confused about the reasoning for Bulldogs here. You have lost the grubbies. You have lost all of them already. Like, there is nothing you can do in this speed anymore. What exactly is the idea when you go into the speed after the objective is down? Is that just to kill Baus? Have we not learned anything from the seeding stage about killing Baus?
They lose every side of the map. Every lane at once just loses. There's a huge play bot lane, where Crownie and Reckless forced both bot lanes off. A solo kill mid lane into grubs into 2 kills top lane. Lost Returners could not have asked for a better sequence across the map.
Absolutely not. They have complete control over everywhere. They have taken down the first turret on the bot lane. They are now trying to do the same thing to the top lane one. The dragon is still for taking. Nemesis
has got flash, but there's an ult from the Aurora trying to buy some time. Flash away finally as Velia comes into defend. Bounce is here as well, who's teleported in another Thundering Smash and came in. Will be leaving very shortly. Mouse hits him with a frenzied maul, and the bunny rabbit does not win against the bear. turns out polar bears tend to be better than bunny rabbits on the whole.
I've heard something about polar bears being like apex predators, you know.
So they say.
Not sure. Yeah, so they say. Have never met one myself, so can't really say. If I ever do, I will let you know how it goes. I hope it doesn't happen though. Anyway.
I'm not sure hang on, Mouse. He's gonna have Niantic run at him. The action's just not stopping. I think Mouse might just die, runs away. The Stormbringer is pretty good. Sorry, Sky Splitter, I apologize. Don't want to conflate those two abilities. As Niantic just lacerating slams him and he dies.
I have a suspicion Baus is enjoying that. Like, they killed him twice. They have tried to kill him a couple of times more, but at the same time, Lost Ratones are not losing anything whatsoever with this one death of Baus. They are still getting in the control over the map. They have Nemesis on the bot lane right now, just pushing in, prepping potentially for the first Drake of the game that is still somehow standing by the 14th minute of the game. They are 6-2 everywhere across the map. Lost Ratones are feeling very, very confident, have the first items already in the inventories of everybody. Like, if you lose Baus once or twice more, do you even notice that at this point?
We were making comments that like, wow, Lost Ratones got a solid enough early gold lead. That's not solid anymore. That is game breaking. They are over 6,000 gold, or just under that, ahead before plates have fallen. They've claimed 2 full turrets and nearly the mid lane one to boot. They've got 6 scrubs. They've got the feats of strength. They're about to get a dragon as well. That is brutal, brutal stuff. They have literally picked up, if they get this last one here, all but 1 plate available to them. Bulldog, we give them credit for the manner in which they pushed this far, for the manner in which they won the tiebreakers from starting 1 and 3 to making it all the way here in playoffs. But right now, feels like Lost Ratones are making a statement. It's that Bulldog, if you want to join a heavyweight match, you need to be able to throw some heavyweight punches, and so far, they've been looking a little bit down the weight class.
2.2k gold lead for Crowny right now compared to Exafin.
That's brutal.
Crowny, together with Reckless, got the turret on the bot lane, rotated to the top lane, got the turret on the top lane, rotated to the mid lane, got the turret on the mid lane, and he's feeling very proud of his results right now, I bet, because that's a lot of money for just 2 guys. And when Sam and I saw this Ezreal B1 during the draft, we were thinking that potentially there's going to be a support who's going to be able to roam, because Ezreal traditionally is a champion who's feeling rather okay being alone on the lane. He's pretty self-sufficient. But it's been the opposite, fun enough. Reckless has not left Crowny's side so far. They're always together. Reckless is always there to make sure that Crowny survives should anything unexpected happen. But frankly, nothing unexpected has happened so far. It's not like Bulldog are actively trying to take Crowny down, or at least to slow him down.
We are waiting on 100 or so stacks until Crowny gets a Muramana transformation, and then this game is feeling very, very tricky. Look at the build on the Janna as well. That is Comet for increased poke that scales well with AP. You've got the Imperial Mandate with the Zazek's Rune Spike. There's no Dreamcatcher, there's no Moonstone. This is actually a damage. I want to empower my Ezreal build. You will hurt a lot with this Janna empowering you.
Why are we looking at Baus again? Why are we having 3 members of Bulldogs on the bot and looking at Baus right now? I hope we don't have any silly plans right now. Just let Cayman stay there. Cayman is only 1 level behind. That should be fine for him.
Sing throws a feather at him. And doesn't care all much. He's gone for the Cosmic Drive here as well to go through as many abilities as possible. Remember that the more that Volibear gets to Frenzy Maul, the more damage he does, the more healing he gets. That's why the extended fights are always so frustrating against a champion like that. Not going to be the tankiest per se if he doesn't get to hit that E button a lot, but with it can be really, really obnoxious.
And right now he's still on the bot lane, has the teleport available by the way, and this is the time when we have the Herald to the top part of the map with Nemesis and Reckless still pushing the waves in. They are having so much control over the map, and specifically on the top part of the map, rotating Ezreal there right now. This looks like a free Herald for Lost Ratones right now, and free Herald for Lost Ratones means that's going to be the inner turrets of Bulldogs that are going to go down very soon. Honestly, I'm trying to look at Bulldogs and see what exactly they can do right now in the game to try to stabilize it a little bit, maybe to buy themselves some time.
It's difficult.
It's very difficult, yes, because you have all the losing lanes and no control over the map.
Cayman's in trouble, but it's a 1v4 bout. Are you sure? They'll bring in the team with the killer Instafang, and they'll give a kill over the guys that necessary. Because I was about to say, Crowny has just hit 200 CS in 17 minutes. There is a Do&B Rise hack happening right now on your screens. This Ezreal is insanely ahead. As now Kasing's in danger, it's even more damage. Oh my days, Imperial Mandate gets a big prod. Public Execution puts Crowny in danger, but there's a Monsoon that keeps him right back to full. Lulus can't find anything. Big shockwave after, and the Intech goes down alongside Nemesis claiming Kaliman. Intech, I apologize, did manage to escape, but they still get one of the Zolos. A true shot barrage just wide.
So close. Almost hit them. Almost hit my heart. But it did not. This turret, though, is not going to survive for long. They can take it. They don't even need Herald for that, even though, frankly, they have it already in their pocket, so can unleash at any moment. The thing, though, for Bulldogs, what do you do right now? You can't engage onto Los Ratones. If you do that, you saw what Reckless just did with the Q, with the ultimate. He just throws you away and you can say anything. And if he doesn't do it, Baus and Belcher will do exactly what they're doing right now. They meant they destroy him.
The immortal words of Jamada. What do you do in a situation like this? You pray and you hope that someone oversteps. Baus dying, not bad. You get another kill. Velia now potentially in danger. Exafeng, no ult. Can't really follow as Velia will flash and get on out. They lose Baus again. Trying to be a little greedy, little flash forwards for a bit more of a slow. Gonna get more chunk on Velia who will likely die out. That's potentially huge. Is there a dragon or something to play for? Not really. Not even, of course, late enough for Atakan to have spawned. So despite killing the jungler, despite getting 2 kills, doesn't really lead to all that much. And look at where the waves are. They are shoved all the way back. The closest you've got is one wave now finally crossing the river in bot lane.
So even if you kill somebody from Los Ratones, you can't really go and try to do anything around the dragon, like at least establishing some deeper vision or something, because you gotta go back to the base, you gotta deep push the waves, you gotta look for a safer place at the moment as Bulldogs. But hey, silver linings, right? It's something good that happened for them. We had a good shutdown going for Mientek. Mientek is a very strong top lane player, and he has been growing a lot throughout this split. And honestly, his Ambessa is probably one of the flashiest champions that he has in his kit right now.
Yeah.
She's already 3-1-1, has an Eclipse completed, so potentially if we're looking for maybe the slight win con for Bulldogs in this game, if they try to play around this meta, maybe there is a world where something interesting happens. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm saying there is a vision.
If you were looking for a desperate hope, that's it, right? And I tend to agree. And actually, Lulu's going to turn up. Baus again being attacked, trying to get some value. The pump against you. She comes down afterwards. The Baus, huge healing. With the attempt of the Frenzied Maul, will not save their life, though. They get another kill, and they are Mientek. You literally just called it out. They do it again. Push up barrage. Chags Lulus, but not Mientek, who would have been slightly more valuable.
He wouldn't have died, but it at least maybe would have hurt him mentally. I don't know. I'm trying to look for something.
Emotional damage.
Emotional,
like,
it's mostly that, yes.
Yeah, and again, the problem is, like, yes, you've got this Ambassador fed. The Ambassador's got 2 items. Fantastic. Can you convert that into breaking the Ezreal? Because you need to. This Ezreal is so ahead. 244 CS in 20 minutes. Has a Janna who is building to amp this Ezreal damage out the wazoo. And no, ask what a wazoo is. It's like a random British phrase. I offer you no explanations in this trying time.
Thank you. I don't want one. Thank you.
That's probably wise. Like, I don't want to know. That's probably the correct decision in this moment. Mientek, big run up by Baus, who goes thundering, smashing forwards. Nemesis in danger. They try to find a 1 versus 2, but in comes the Grand Starfall. Claiming goes over the wall. Nemesis flashing on afterwards. Command, attack, and dissonance. Exafeng trades it, makes it the 1-for-1, but on the other side, it's still a 2-for-2 going on. And in the end, it'll still be the additional kill going the way of Lost Ratones. Mid lane, Mientek being dived as Baus gets some vengeance. Lost Ratones come out on top. Crowdy now looking to pick some members up. 2 levels up on this Kai'Sa, by the way. Still hasn't completed the Muramana transformation because he just got his item so damn early. His tier never got to stack. It has now stacked. Tier 2 still goes down. And Bulldog, I appreciate the fact you aren't going quietly into the night. I appreciate the fact that you are trying to make plays. It is just so desperately hard at this stage in the game.
With so much gold loose for Los Ratones, with them being so ahead with levels, with the itemization, with control of the map, with everything, it's just so hard to find plays for Bulldog. And even if when you find a play, Los Ratones are usually very fast to answer, and they find the kills of their own, they find the advantages of their own. Getting the Atacon right now, there is no way in the world Bulldogs are getting anywhere close to this Atacon. Look at Crony, look at Reckless! Reckless is just holding his line in the jungle.
Gonna try. They might have to try and play it out as Mientek is teleported in, but it's very late. The withdrawal's still available. Baus goes into the sky, and the God of Thunder descends. They get with 1 withdrawal, but Crowny is having none of it. Neither is Velia. A double kill for the Pantheon. And what is a god before a man? Pantheon has ascended the mountain, and somewhere out there I can hear Archeron screaming as a triple kill comes on through from the man of Targon.
and they know where Cayman is. They've been clicking on his little portrait on the minimap, but they don't need him. They are not here for the kills. They are here to destroy the enemies where it hurts the most. They're here to destroy their Nexus in 20 goddamn minutes. Is that the fastest game we've had so far?
It feels like it. This has been a statement, and it is not that they are here to win. It is that they are here to traumatize. An obscene early game lead. Crownie on this Ezreal has pulled out some world-beating numbers. The NLC thought that they would be dangerous in game 1 here. Of this best of 3, they are proving they are just straight up lethal. The Nexus next on the call. They're looking to Fountain Types, of course. Bounce. Zip. Grand Starfall will crash down across the breaking Nexus. It is domination.
And you gotta appreciate this one last